If you're moving to Boston and you know for a fact you want to live outside the hustle and bustle of the city, so you're looking at the suburbs, you basically have three choices. You could go north, south, or to the west. So in this video, we're discussing, some of the differences of what you get by going north towards the North Shore, South Shore, and the Metro West of Boston. But really looking at the difference between North Shore and South Shore. They can be similar, but they're different areas in Boston. If you're looking at those suburbs, wondering how they compare and what those differences are, we're getting into that in this video today. Hey there, welcome to the channel. My name is Jacob Peistrup, and real quick, if you're someone moving to Boston or the suburbs, North Shore, South Shore, or the West, and you want some help with that process of buying a house, buying a condo in this crazy market, I am a real estate advisor and I love the reach outs from my YouTube channel. So if I can do anything to help you and your family with that process, let's get in touch. Send me an email, send a text message, whatever works for you. Let's get in touch and get that conversation started to bring you here to Boston and help you with that move to the Boston area. So like I said in this video, really going over the differences between the North, the South, and a little bit of the West. The West is kind of different from the North Shore and the South Shore, but a lot of people, ask about the differences between the North Shore and the South Shore. How are they different, and is one of them better than the other or not? So in this video, as someone would say in Boston, we're talking about the North Shore and the South Shore when it comes to living Boston. So as you might guess, the North Shore is pretty much everything along the coastline that is directly north of the city of Boston. The South Shore is the opposite, everything that is on the coast of the south of Boston, down south of the Massachusetts Bay. Now, both the North Shore and the South Shore are outside the city. These are the suburbs. You don't have that hustle and bustle of the city life. Now, in both the North Shore and the South Shore, you could live, 15 minutes outside Boston, or if you go really far north or really far south, you could be like an hour and a half to get into Boston depending on traffic. Now, a lot of people who live in the North Shore or the South Shore might work in Boston. A lot of people in medicine, the financial district, or somewhere in tech, like in Cambridge. Those are kind of the three big, centers for work in Boston. Now, what you don't want to do is live in the South Shore if you're going to have to work in the North Shore, and vice versa. So if you live in North Shore, you don't want to work in South Shore. So if you're picking between North Shore and South Shore, think about where you're going to be for work, because if you live in one and try to drive to the other, you have to go through the city of Boston, which is a nightmare, let me tell you. And that is one big reason why people from the North Shore and the South Shore aren't very familiar with the one they don't live in, because if you live in the North Shore and you spend your whole life there, the North Shore is what you know, and you probably know Boston as well, but to get to the South Shore, if you live in North Shore, it's just a hike, it's a pain, traffic can be a nightmare, so people don't do it very often just because, they're both close to Boston, but they're not very close to each other to make that drive from one to the next. And if you're considering going west of the city, then it's kind of like you gotta go around the city if you're going through the west to get to any of those suburbs out there, like Lexington, Belmont, Winchester, anything like that. Going west of the city is just going into the suburbs, but in a different direction compared to North Shore and South Shore. And it's funny because that's kind of one of the reasons people get very territorial about the North Shore and the South Shore. It's a big debate in Boston. People are very proud of being from the North Shore or the South Shore. The thing is though, if you ask someone from the North Shore about, somewhere like Hingham or Braintree in the South Shore, they're probably not going to know it very well because, like I said, these areas are very, not different, but they're just very far apart. It's hard to get from one to the other by driving through Boston. But overall, they have a lot of similarities too, and no one wants to talk about that. People want to talk about the differences between North and South, but there are very similar towns in both of them. So here's my opinion as someone who is not originally from Boston, and I don't really have any bias towards the North Shore or the South Shore. Here's what I'll say. Aside from all the stuff they have in common, like beaches, shopping centers, beautiful towns and neighborhoods, that's easy to find in the North and the South. Here's what you want to focus on though. It's where do you want to be physically close to in relation to Boston and other places around you? Like, what do you want to be driving distance from if you live in the North Shore or the South Shore? Like, if you want to go on a weekend getaway, maybe in Portland, Maine, then North Shore is going to make that very easy. If you'd rather drive down towards Providence, Rhode Island or Cape Cod, South Shore is your best bet. If you'd rather be a quick drive from Newburyport up north, then you want to go with North Shore. If you'd rather be, quicker to Cohasset or somewhere like that down south, then you might enjoy the South Shore better. It's like, do you want to live in maybe one of the older parts of North Shore? It does have some older areas compared to South Shore. Or do you want to live in kind of the newer money area in some of these places that are in South Shore? Like, they both have a lot in common, but where they're actually located is just different. And that's kind of one of the big things between the North and the South. And they're very similar, they just have different versions of the same thing. So in the North, you have Route 1, which is the main road going through the North Shore. In the South, you have Route 3 going through. The North Shore can be older than the South Shore in some places, and some of these towns are more working class and middle class, but the North Shore also has more of these kind of destination locations like Salem, Newburyport, and Rockport, which are beautiful places to check out all along the North Shore. The North Shore Mall is kind of the big shopping center in the North Shore, and if you're looking at kind of the high-end areas of the North Shore, you're gonna be looking at Marblehead and Manchester by the Sea as kind of the high-end towns in the North Shore. And then the South Shore, again, tons of towns to choose from, a lot of these coastal places that are beautiful both in the North Shore and the South Shore. The South Shore can sometimes be newer and a little bit wealthier in some places compared to the North, but with that, some of these houses are more expensive. Some of these towns are a little bit more exclusive and highly priced compared to the North Shore when you're down south. So some of these like Hingham, Cohasset, and Duxbury, also called Deluxebury because it is expensive, with some of these towns in the South Shore. I mean, overall, both the North Shore and the South Shore have some beautiful, incredible, just coastal New England towns, like right on the water, right on the beach. If you want to live a 5-minute walk from the beach or even buy a waterfront property, they will both have a bunch of phenomenal options for you. And then, like I said, the Metro West is kind of a different thing than the North Shore and the South Shore. It's more suburban, it can be newer in some places, but you're not next to the water. So this is more suburban. It's kind of more woodsy and more rural in some places because you don't have the water right there next to you. But you also have some of the more expensive suburbs of Boston that are located towards the west rather than the North Shore or the South Shore. So for example, Lexington, Belmont, Weston, Wellesley, these are some of the most expensive zip codes around Boston. A lot of them are located west of the city. If you're looking towards the west, it's just easier to find a bigger piece of land, bigger backyard if you want, that private woodsy backyard, less densely populated than the North Shore and the South Shore, and definitely less densely populated than the city of Boston. You've also got the Mass Pike going out west towards Worcester. So that's kind of, your main road going through the west of the suburbs. And like I said, you got Route 1 going up north and then Route 3 going down south towards the South Shore. But really, if you're looking at any of these areas in the suburbs of Boston trying to decide, they really have some of the same stuff. They have commuter rails to get into Boston. There's different highways that go to and from the North Shore, South Shore, and the West. There's just different ways of getting into Boston, whether you want to drive, take the T, take the commuter rail. They all have options to make that easy. You just got to think about, how close do you want to be to Boston and anything around you if you have family in the area, or you want to be close to another part of, maybe you want to be closer towards Worcester, out west, or if you want to be closer towards New Hampshire up north or towards Cape Cod, then go down south. Those are kind of the big choices, between, if you want to live north, west, or south. It's really, where do you want to be closest to if you're living outside of Boston? Traffic can be horrible with all three of these depending on where you live and what time of day you're driving, which is why I said the commuter rail is a big bonus of living either direction. Like either way you go, you're gonna have the commuter rail to get into Boston. If you go south, you have the red line for a little bit. If you go west, you have the green line for a little bit. But there are lots of ways of getting into Boston, whether you're driving or you take the T or the commuter rail. It's very easy. So just a quick overview of north, south, and west within the suburbs of Boston. Like I said, if you're moving to the area and you want some help with that process of buying a house these days in this crazy competitive real estate market, let's get in touch, send me a text, send me an email. Let's get that conversation started so we can help you with that right fit in Boston. So thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Hope you take care. Have a great day. And until next time, I will catch you in the next video right here on the Living Boston channel.